So somebody asked a really good question of the day, and they asked me, how have I survived this long, I guess over 6 years, living abroad? And I thought that it would be very beneficial to finally start telling people how I've lived abroad. And I think, especially for the Latino community or Mexicans or Spaniards, they think, oh, he's a gringo. Of course, he can do these things. And I want to let everybody know that it wasn't as easy as they thought it was. First, when I left, I think I had only $10,000 to my name. And it was kind of scary. While I didn't have the same bills, I had gave up my car. Luckily, that situation worked out really good. Gave up my car. I didn't have a lease. I didn't have much debt. So I was not really dealing with a lot of stuff when I first left. And originally, I left and I moved to London. But let me tell you, I was quickly humbled in London because my dumbass didn't even think about the currency exchange and how this pound was gonna be eating my dollar up every single day that I was in this country. So I'm there. I think my rent was only like $600. I had $10,000 to my name, and then there's $10,000 like in my savings, and I think I had like $30,000 worth of credit cards. So I used my cash for that, and I was able to actually just stay for a year, or I'll say a year or two, without any problems. Now, what happened was I actually ended up getting a relationship. I got in a relationship which ultimately cut my bills less than what it already was, because I was in a relationship with somebody that didn't care for me to pay for anything. So not that it's just something that just had fell in my lap, to be honest, and I didn't even think about it. It was just something that just had happened. And then after that, I remember going to Spain, and then we went to the Euro. But I think in the meantime of that was like 2 years in, 3 years in. I had went back to the States for a little bit, did like some stuff that I needed, some business that I needed to do, got some more, earned some more money basically, and then it was a little easier for me at that point, because then I came back to Europe and I was like, oh shit, I ain't got, this is easy, I ain't got nothing to do. But when I was in Europe or Spain, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, I had a fucking sugar daddy that was able to basically pay for everything for me there, and that was for like roughly like a year or two. Mind you, I still got my money, so I'm never like tripping, because I'm like, if it ever stop, I ain't gotta worry about it. But it is what it is. But in reality, it was like in those last few years, I didn't even have a job, and it was really interesting. But then I was working like as a consultant, but it was not that many days. So I consider that as a contracting job. So I didn't have like a physical 9 to 5 for like the last 10, 12 years of my life. But then I remember that I did the consulting, and then I tutored a little bit just to make little side money, just to kind of keep money coming in from different ways. Um, and it was just like one of those things where I was just constantly thinking of new things to do, like, okay, do this, do this, do this. I may even had did a little model, and I'll tell you about that a little bit, where I earned some money from like a couple events and things like that, and just money coming from everywhere. So I think a lot of people think that this was very easy, but in reality, it wasn't really easy. It was just that my business mindset always kind of step to the front when I needed it. And I was like, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this. And sometimes it was just me learning how to live outside of my comfort zone, to be honest.